Thanks for joining us on this weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Topping the headlines, the Aid Bank Investment Forum, a how-to for diaspora investment. A new team has been sworn in to man the affairs of the Tatan Tukarisa and Pai Village Council, and police to heighten security during the 2014 carnival season. All these stories and more right after the break.
Black Sikatuka is a dangerous fungal disease that affects the leaves of banana and plantains. The disease prevents the plant from producing healthy bunches. It is spread by wind, water, and people. Please do not remove banana and plantain trash from infected fields. Stop the spread of Black Sikatuka today. For further information, please contact your Extension Officer or the Division of Agriculture.
Welcome back. The Aid Bank held its much-anticipated investment forum on Friday for Dominicans overseas. The event was a how-to guide for members of the Dominican diaspora to invest in the local economy with financial help from the Aid Bank, of which the Dominica government is the major stakeholder. Here are a few clips from the presentations made at the forum held at the Fortune Hotel.
The Aid Bank has a long history of working with returning Dominicans who have decided to invest here. The bank is now looking to strengthen links with the Dominicans who are still overseas. Indeed, the theme, Help Here From There, dispels the notion that you have to come back home to contribute. The objectives of the diaspora policy are to increase investment and participation of the diaspora in the local economy, and also to encourage persons to return home to work or to retire. This policy standardizes the way in which we relate to the diaspora, both here and in our offices overseas. The existence of a policy and of the diaspora unit further demonstrates government's commitment to the goals of generating growth through diaspora involvement.
As a key player in Dominica's economic and social landscape, we take this opportunity to encourage more members of the diaspora to partner with or become a part of our private sector. Essentially, we would like to facilitate and finance projects that are viable and sustainable.
Over the past few years, government has been addressing issues surrounding the investment climate with the aim of making Dominica an easier and friendlier place to do business. To date, we have achieved the following. We have introduced the Asicudo World System, allowing the digital processing of customs documents and thus reducing the amount of time it takes to clear goods from what was 5 to 7 days to a mere 24 to 48 hours. The process of land transactions has been simplified and digitized, thus permitting land transfers to occur in 48 hours. The electronic filing of tax returns will soon be fully operational. Improvement to the road infrastructure is ongoing and is evident to those of you who recently returned home. Appropriate legislation is now in place to facilitate electronic transactions. It is now possible to establish a business in one day, and that's real business in one day. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to all this, the usual package of fiscal incentives continue to be available to all investors.
GIS News will bring you more from that discussion in subsequent newscasts. On Thursday, the communities of Tatan, Tukarisa, Pai, and Cottage appointed 8 men and women to oversee the affairs of their community. The 15th inaugural meeting of the Tatan Tukarisa and Pai Cottage Village Council was held on Thursday, February 27, 2014, at the Cottage Community Center. In attendance to witness the swearing-in of the new councillors were Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, Minister for Community Development Honorable Gloria Shillingford, and Parliamentary Representative for the area Honorable Reginald Austrie. The 8 men and women sworn in were Gregory Daniel, Werner John Baptist, Bruno Lamoth, Carol Barron, Wendy Romaine, Dennis Bell Jr., Edward Dina, and Aisha Wright. Outgoing Chairman Ashton Mason commended the new councillors for their interest in serving their community. He said that although challenges were faced under his leadership, the past council was able to attain a success rate of 75% over the past 3 years. Mason indicated that close liaison with the parliamentary representative can account for some of these successes.
We had the pleasure of working very closely with the parliamentary representative, Honorable Reginald Austri, on a number of projects, to include some infrastructural projects, which today is impacting greatly on the lives of the residents and visitors alike.
The outgoing chairman expressed confidence in the ability of the incoming chairman and offered a few words of encouragement.
I know that you are aware of what some of your challenges are going to be. Let me prepare you. They will not be easy. Nor will persons put their problems or situations before you and seek solutions, be sympathetic to you. But I'm confident that you have what it takes to overcome these challenges. I suggest to you that you stay focused on the objectives that you have set for yourselves.
Incoming Chairman Gregory Strathmore Daniel is no newcomer to the council. In his remarks, he urged villagers to believe in the possibility of realizing the dream of having a perfect community.
A community where activities will be organized for the upliftment, not the destruction of the members of the community. My people, this may sound like a dream, but it's actually possible.
GIS News will bring you more from this village council inauguration in another newscast. In more news, Dominica's ambassador to CARICOM and the OECS, His Excellency Felix Gregoire, has stated that a decision by the state last Sunday to deny Jamaican artist Tommy Lee Sparta entry into the country was in fact in keeping with provisions set out by the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. His Excellency Gregoire sought to bring clarity to the matter when he spoke to GIS News on Thursday. According to Ambassador Gregoire, the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas has confirmed that a member state can refuse a qualified CARICOM national entry into its territory if there are sufficient grounds of belief that the CARICOM national will pose a serious threat to public health and public security.
The statement from the Ministry of National Security states, pursuant to advice received, government had concerns for the public safety, that is with respect to Mr. Leroy Russell, a.k.a. Tommy Lee Sparta and company, who will refuse entry into Dominica. So therefore, the statement by the government or the Ministry of National Security is in keeping with the provisions of the Treaty of Chaguaramas.
Tommy Lee was denied entry into Dominica last Sunday. He was set to perform at a concert in Portsmouth that same night, and he was subsequently detained and deported on Monday. In more news, students and faculty of the Sufria Primary School officially launched their new Eat Fish Day school program on Wednesday. This program provides an opportunity to sensitize the students of the importance of healthy eating. According to those present, the Sufria Primary School is an ideal location to initiate this program, since the community is considered one of the leading fishing communities in Dominica and one of the best diving locations in the OECS. School teacher Edith Mesmer delivered remarks from the district nurse on the tremendous benefits of eating fish.
It is low in fat but very high in protein, which helps your body to repair itself and help your wounds to heal quickly. Number 3, fish helps many diseases stay away. Diseases such as asthma. Children who eat fish may be less likely to develop asthma. Cancer. Fish also helps cancer bad cells to stay away from the body. Diabetes, sugar in the blood. Fish helps lower sugar in your blood. Depression. People who eat fish are likely to be depressed.
Eating fish reduces the risk of heart disease by up to 40% and contributes to the health of brain tissue and good eyesight. Sales and Marketing Manager of Petrocaribe, Ian Pinard, commended the organizers of the event for the initiative, stating that if we are to feed a nation, we have to start first by providing for the children. He urged the students to share the benefits of eating fish with members of the family to encourage healthy eating. Pinard voiced Petrocaribe's commitment to sponsor the program for the rest of the academic year and also expressed his delight at the number of parents volunteering at the event.
I really want to congratulate again the parents, because I went to the kitchen, because I like food myself, I like fish, and I went to the kitchen and I see all the parents are there volunteering. And this is a great sign. When you have parents who come in and volunteer into making sure that we have a successful day, you really have to commend our parents. So we really have to give our parents a round of applause for volunteering this afternoon.
In his remarks, he encouraged parents to play an active role in healthy eating at home by frequent cooking of fish. The event was sponsored by the government's Fisheries Division in partnership with the Ministry of Education, the Environmental Health Department, and PDV Caribe Dominica Limited. Law enforcement officials will adopt a zero-tolerance approach towards criminal activities during this carnival season. This was highlighted at a DFC press conference on Wednesday. Police Inspector Claude Weeks said the police will be on the lookout for individuals with offensive weapons.
I want to take the opportunity right away, especially those who have the propensity and affinity to causing mischief, that the weapon of offense includes any firearm, including imitation firearms. Cutlass, knife, stick, stone, bottle, either empty or containing liquid of any description, and any article or thing capable of being used for an offensive purpose. So, for example, someone is sitting on a stool outside there during the carnival time, and he takes somebody, annoys him. He can take the stool and lash the person with it. Automatically, the stool becomes an offensive weapon, if you understand what I'm saying. And we take a dim view on violence philosophically, zero tolerance with respect to Carnival 2014.
The police official has emphasized that the Noise Abatement Act will also be strictly enforced during the carnival celebrations.
It's not because it's carnival that the laws of Dominica are suspended. A lot of people believe because it's carnival we can do what we want. That is not so. The laws are not suspended. The laws will be maintained. The laws will be applied. The laws will be implemented, while the police have a discretion, no doubt about it, but at the end of the day, we cannot shortchange the citizenry.
Meanwhile, the police are asking that vehicle owners take precautions to prevent theft of personal items during this festive season. Superintendent David Andrew has advised that the public should refrain from leaving valuables in their vehicles, which may attract thieves.
Vehicle owners coming to the revelry, we are asking you to ensure that when you are leaving your vehicle, they are properly locked and secured, and do not leave any valuables exposed, that it can provide an opportunity for would-be thieves or a temptation for even who would not be of a criminal mind, but seeing the opportunity and takes it, especially electronics gadget. Don't leave them exposed and important things on your seats that they can be seen.
And trucks parading along the carnival routes on Monday and Tuesday have been advised to comply with the height specifications.
We want to advise the truck holders and truck users to ensure they comply with the height of the vehicle's construction and adaptation. It should not exceed 14 feet from ground to the top. The number of persons on the vehicle should not exceed 7. And the wheel guard should be in place to minimize incidents of accidents with people sliding under the truck or onto the wheel. So we want to ensure those points are taken care of.
Vehicles are also urged to be licensed and insured.
We want to exhort you, first of all, and I hope the DFC officials will also help us in doing that, to ensure that all motor vehicles on that road, they are roadworthy. 1, 2, they are licensed, and most of all, they are insured. Insurance is very critical for when accident occurs. There is some form of compensation that can be derived at to take care of the injured and victims of those incidents.
Motorists who are not using the specified carnival route have been asked to stay away from it. Meantime, vendors along the routes have been asked to be organized early to avoid any inconvenience.
Vendors who would have to go across the route, we are advising that you do so early before the route begin being used, and at intermittent times, or when there are breaks in a particular area, when there are no bands in that area. We know you have to replenish your bars and your stock, but we are saying do so early and do so at breaks so that there is not confusion and friction building up, you trying to go through a carnival band to come restock your bar. We want you to comply. We want you to support us and cooperate with the police so things can go swiftly. Also ensure that you have your food handlers and you have your license to sell liquor. We will have a team going around to ensure that there is compliance when it comes to those bars.
Moving along, the Roseau City Council during this carnival season will erect portable toilets in strategic areas within the city.
We are appealing to the people out there to make good use of the toilets and use it in a very, very responsible manner.
Patrons will be asked to make a contribution of $1 for the use of those toilets.
In some cases, we may or may not, as the users of the toilets, to just donate a dollar, because we have to pay persons to man the toilets and to make sure that they are clean. I'm not saying in cases where they don't have a dollar that they will not be able to use the toilets. Of course, that is what it is there for. But we need to be responsible, and we have to know that when we leave our homes and we go to town, you know, to view the bands and to take part in the carnival, that we do it in a very responsible manner.
Patrons have also been asked to make use of the garbage bins, which will be made available within the city by the Solid Waste Management Corporation. Residents living in the city are also being asked to put out their garbage for collection on time on Monday and Tuesday next week to ensure that the city is clean on Ash Wednesday.
We are saying to our citizens, especially in Roseau and Dominica at large, that they should be concerned about the cleanliness of our island, of our nature island, and see Roseau as an important city, as a premier view, facade of Dominica. When the visitors come, again, we're not cleaning Roseau just for the visitors, was first and foremost for ourselves. As Val mentioned, the number of diseases associated with the improper disposal of garbage. We don't want that to home on us after the visitors have left. So we're saying to us that, especially in areas of Virgin Lane and other areas of the city, Hillsborough Street, Bath Road, Kennedy Avenue, that we know Carnival ends officially on Monday at 10 o'clock in the night, in the evening. It's expected to, all right? But we're saying that we as citizens, residents in the city, should are allowed to place the garbage out by 11 o'clock in the evening, 11 o'clock on Monday evening, 11 o'clock on Tuesday evening, so that the garbage truck will be able to ply or drive through or move through those lanes to keep the city clean for the next day. Because we don't want garbage to be left in the environment and the flies and the mosquitoes and the rats.
Their work will soon be displayed in the Miss Dominica 2014 pageant. Kimani Seja brings you a report on the world of Dominica's carnival costume builders.
GIS continues to allow you to peek into the world of Dominica's costume builders. The artistic mind of Alwyn Bully began creating carnival costumes at the age of 12. He says designing costumes was a way to channel his natural ability for art. While Danley Guy builds from a world of fantasy, Alwyn Bully of Creative Dynamics draws his inspiration from local folklore and culture.
I like to celebrate Dominica and Dominica's culture, Dominicans' folklore, and the various aspects of living, the various elements that come together to create what we call a Dominican culture, the Kalinaga people, the people of African descent, people of European descent, whatever. I find a costume has to say something. It's not just a pretty thing where I'm concerned. There's always a message in it.
Besides working in Dominica, Bully has contributed to the art of costume building in other islands of the region, including Jamaica and Antigua, and his work has reached even as far as the US. He believes that the work of the costume builder or designer is far too great to be displayed only during the National Queen Show or one day of the Carnival Parade.
And that's where, if we had some form of display in the costumes after Carnival where people could look at them in more detail and see why these colors, why this shape, what is the symbol, what is he trying to say with the costume. So it would make the work of the designers and builders a lot more appreciated. They themselves would feel more gratified by the fact that a lot of people have really understood what they're trying to say with the costume. It's like a song or calypso. It's not just the music and the melody and the rhythm, it's also what it's saying. And the same thing applies to costumes.
The self-taught artist appreciates the honor of being able to share the art with the one other costume building tent, the Costume Builders Mass Camp run by Donley Guy. He says although there is competition between their work during the season, the process of creating art together is far more important.
In the early days in the 70s and 80s, we were all in one place in a costume shed along at the Dexia shed in Pottersville, and we bounced ideas off each other. It was like a group. And later on that stopped. There were separate groups. But I'm really happy to say that this year ourselves, the Creative Dynamics and the Mass Camp, that's Danley Guy, we're right next door to each other, and it's like the old days again, you know, like working together on the same idea. And I think that's the way we have to go. Sure, it's a competition, and people, of course, everybody wants to do their best and maybe win the best costume. But the competition is, just by the way, the process is a lot more important than the competition.
Shortage of funds limits the work of the artists and stunts the grandeur of the costume they would love to build. Bully believes our costumes should be spectacular. He says we should not want to take away the big costumes from the stage. However, he adds that even with those limited funds, Dominican costume builders have been able to produce amazing work. It's important to pass on the craft to the youth, so Bully and his team usually hold workshops at schools across the island and can only hope that some are passionate enough to continue the art of costume designing and building.
We now join Kimani Sejan for this week's edition of Flashback.
Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback. Let's take a look at some of the headline stories which made the news this week. Teachers who oversee technical subjects at secondary schools were this week trained on how to better impart technical and vocational education to students. Also this week, 17 young people from the village of Pennville successfully ended an adolescent health training program. The program, which began in May of 2013, exposed participants to key guidelines with a view to molding them into productive and responsible citizens. The Aid Bank this week brought members of the Diaspora together with the hope of stimulating economic development through their investments. The event tackled the subjects of available opportunities for investment, the bank's position to make those investments possible, and government's diaspora policies. Also this week, we learned that the Dominica Police Force is this year partnering with Platinum Security and other private sector entities in bringing about greater security this Carnival by installing CCTV cameras on the Carnival route. A new visa waiver agreement was signed this week between Dominica and Brazil. This arrangement means that residents of Dominica and Brazil can travel between the two countries for tourism or business with no need of visas. The government of Chile made a contribution of $10,000 to the government of Dominica towards its flood recovery efforts. And 9 Calypso finalists in this year's Calypso Monarch competition, along with King Dice, this week selected the order in which they will perform this Saturday night. Those were the headline stories which made the news this week. Back to you, Pearl.
And that's the English segment of National Focus. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, police Dominica informe le public là qu'a concerné route carnaval en ville Roseau. Yo ka aussi créer assez public là pour la clé maison à yo avant yo aller jump up. Parole celle-là sorti your superintendent police David Andrew.
Il est en route. Et route là, il a servi pour des masses, pour des jours masses là. C'est Kennedy Avenue, Independence Street, King George V Street et puis Hanover Street. C'est chemin ça, c'est route ça, tout le monde n'est pour servir, monde qui amasse, monde qui pas amasse, monde qui van, qui n'est pour rentrer à dedans pas ça. Nous avons yo pour ça yo kay van, mener bonnet pour mettre à ça à ces bas yo kay van hod. Et puis si bagay kamachi yo ni pour sortir, fait en temps qui pli à l'aise. C'est pas là un gros ban qui passe ou qui venir et puis voiture ou qui sortir et ben quand rentrer pour dire ou qui mettre à bas pour vendre. So on dit ni un jugement à ça, fait bonnet et fait à temps qui pli à l'aise. Là où qui sorti fait sema qui toute la porte, toute fenêtre fermée, la clé la porte là, pas mettre la clé ou à bas en pied, comment on va crier ça, là où on souille pied on est en mat, on peut mettre la clé en bas ça et puis aller voler garder ça, yo ni en porte-fleur assis step là ka descendre, yo la clé la porte là et puis mettre ça à porte-fleur et puis yo aller voler quand pour venir prendre la clé ouvert et puis prendre ça il à kaila. So on ka verti yo pour porter attention ça yo ka fait.
Yo ka aussi créer assez monde pour la clé voiture yo avant yo parti en banna. Aussi garder pour vieux l'argent faux. Parole celle-là sorti inspecteur police Claude Wicks.
Biti accord nous voulons dire c'est gros truck là et puis toutes ces qualités musique là. Nous ka verti moun aussi pas passer côté l'hôpital Princess Margaret Hospital ça qui a grand temps n'importe là ni l'hôpital ni police station fire brigade pas passer là et puis c'est qualité musique là qui a pété les oreilles moun loi a dit pas passer là et puis ça c'est sa police a arrêté moi qu'a dit carnaval qu'a bout à 10h ça c'est lundi et puis mardi et nous avons espoir moun qui conduit koyo à dedans en ordre et puis pas mettre koyo à débat.
À la nouvelle et Bank Dominic Chain Investment Forum on a présenté opportunité bagay yo ka offert Dominic Chain qui ka vivre l'autre pays pour l'avantage. Ministre Employment Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre fait présentation police gouvernement qui concerne investissement et puis quantité gouvernement déjà et puis qui continue chaîne en pays là. Honorable McIntyre want pour gouvernement pour supporter aid bank pour le programme investissement ayo pour développement Dominique. Il mentionne hôtel en Kalinago, Guantas, Economic Citizenship, projet hôtel Woodford Hill en parmi d'autres. Advisor Premier Ministre Eddie Lambert, représentant Premier Ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, aussi quand one support pour initiative à banque là. Parole aussi sorti au General Manager banque là Julius Corbett et puis d'autres officiers à banque là. Département Gender Dominica créé pour respect yon et l'autre pour saison carnaval. C'est le directeur Rosie Brown, ça fait ou la violence passée pour place entre yon et l'autre.
Autant les moun ka jom pop mais les yo aller à case yo peut-être jalousie passé ça la ka jom pop effectif le freiner on et l'autre les yo aller à case c'est masse comprendre en différentes manières c'est pas jom pop c'est masse gourmet fâché jouer comprendre so nous ka dit ça c'est les ça là pour nous dire moun hey c'est pas manière ça là nous parler bagay ça avec aussi tout il ka ban opportunité pour parler contre d'autres situation qui a affecté ou qui pour délivrer situation violence. So c'est ça qui fait nous que car dit well hey, il nous besoin mettre bitan en place. Pour ça stop ça ou pour la monde qui a affecté pour ça aider yo. So nous que mettre programme en place. Nous que dit comme ça et on nous garder loi nous. Est loi là assez les moun fait sérieux cause of violence nous ani glide across fait pas by punition là qui désire, vous comprenez? So tout ça là c'est ça là pour nous parler compte, c'est ça.
Et puis finalement, activité bien avancée pour célébration Mass Dominic l'année 2014. Parole ça la sortie executive director DFC Nathalie Clark. Clark fait parole comment autant travail fait pour faire carnaval là bien excité. Une organisation venue ensemble pour jouer pas ailleurs pour carnaval là. Compagnie Lime Headline Sponsor fait présentation avec $50,000. General Manager Jeffrey Baptiste fait parole c'est évidence compagnie là by the pour société là. Spectacle win national, Kaiso, Jouvet et puis Jump Up, tout cas formé par carnaval là. Plusieurs d'autres sponsors à bord pour faire carnaval Dominique. Bien unique. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Saint-Luce. Qu'à souhaiter tout le monde une bonne saison carnaval. Au revoir.
Learn what experts have to say about being responsible. Up next in your tip of the day.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Being responsible is one of the prime requisites for any person who wants to survive independently in this world. As a child grows, he or she learns to become more responsible for the things around him or her. However, the sense of responsibility comes at different times for different people. One of the first steps towards being responsible is practicing discipline. Do not overindulge in luxuries and pleasures. Remember that time and tide waits for none. And understand the fact that responsibility has to be earned. It is not something that you are entitled to. So start being responsible from this moment and begin to work to the best of your abilities. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine. Thanks for watching and have a safe Carnival weekend.